Are you interested in studying the origin, development, and operation of different political systems? This could include studying different public opinions, political decision-making, and different ideologies. In this video, we're going to help you answer the question, should you become a political scientist in 2021? We're going to go over the latest salaries, job market statistics, and the latest trends. Coming up. Hey everyone, Stephen Hack here with Career Watch, where I help you with your career search. If you end up enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. If you are majoring in political science, or you're actually working as an employed political scientist, join the comment section down below. Let us know what are the pros and cons of working as a political scientist. Political scientists have a number of roles and responsibilities. They study different research performed in academic publications, written reports, and public presentations. They develop and test theories using information from interviews, newspapers, periodicals, and others. They evaluate programs and policies and make recommendations to institutions and organizations. They can provide media commentary or criticism related to different public policies. They can also collect, analyze, and interpret data such as election results and public opinion surveys. Many political scientists have a vast knowledge of different government policies. So that covers the roles and responsibilities of political scientists. What is the average base salary of a political scientist in 2021? Compared to similar occupations, political scientists do really well financially. In 2019, the average base salary was recorded at $120,260. This was more than economists, geographers, post-secondary teachers, sociologists, and survey researchers. Also, the wages of political scientists have increased significantly over the past 2 decades. In 1999, the average base salary of a political scientist was recorded at $72,860. This rose to $120,260 in 2019. Over 2 decades, this is a total growth of $47,400 or $2,257 on average per year. If we applied this average yearly wage growth in 2021, political scientists should see an average base salary around $125,000 per year, and by 2029, this average base salary would rise to $143,000 per year. Of course, these salaries really depend on a couple different variables. There is a vast difference in wages between political scientists that work in professional services or for the federal government compared to the education industry. In fact, according to the Department of Labor, there is almost a $53,000 difference between political scientists that work for in professional services and political scientists that work in the education industry. Geography also plays a role in the wages of political scientists across the country. In this map, the darker blue states tend to pay political scientists the greatest wage. The highest paying state for political scientists in 2019 was the state of Virginia, where the average base salary was around $130,000 per year. Meanwhile, the lowest paying state for political scientists in 2019 was the state of Illinois, where the average base salary was around $72,000 per year. So there's almost a $60,000 difference in wages between the state of Virginia and the state of Illinois. So if you're a political scientist and you're working in a hot job market and you're working in the professional services industry, the top 10% of political scientists earn more than $164,000 per year, whereas at the 10th percentile, probably a starting salary for many political scientists, the average wage is around $61,000 per year. So that covers the wages of political scientists in 2021. What is the job market like? Is this an extremely competitive occupation? The first thing to understand is there are not a lot of employed political scientists across the country. In 2019, the government found that there was 6,010 employed political scientists in the entire United States. There is a reason why a lot of people that major in political scientists end up working as teachers. There are very few employed political scientists, and there's a lot of post-secondary and high school teachers all teaching political science. Also, there hasn't been much job growth for political scientists over the past 2 decades. In 1999, the government recorded 4,280 employed political scientists in the United States. In 2008, this hit a low of 3,530 employed political scientists, but it bounced back, and by 2019, the number of employed political scientists rose to 6,010. So over 2 decades, there was a gain of around 1,700 jobs, or on average around 83 jobs per year. And according to the government forecast, there'll probably be a gain of around 300 jobs from 2019 to 2029, but who knows if this will actually happen or not. The other thing to keep in mind about this occupation is that it is extremely regional. Looking at this map, the light blue states have a few political scientists, whereas the darker blue states have a greater number of political scientists. And no surprise here, you can't really see it in this map, but Washington, D.C. is dark blue. It has the greatest number of employed political scientists across the country. In fact, in Washington, D.C., there was 3,150 employed political scientists, which is about half of the entire workforce. The other way to gauge how competitive this occupation really is to look on Indeed.com and search for different job titles associated with political science. I searched for job titles such as legislative assistant, legislative correspondent, staffer, political specialist, political science, and I came up with about 398 job postings across the country. I'm not entirely sure if all of these are actually considered political scientists or not. If you know the answer to this, definitely leave a comment below. But ultimately, I found 398 job postings, and we can compare this to 6,010 employed. So it is pretty competitive to get a job in this occupation. The other thing to keep in mind regarding the job market for political scientists is almost 1 out of 2 works for the federal government, about 48%, whereas 26% work in professional services, which is the highest paid industry for political scientists. Another big barrier to entry for political scientists is the education required to become a political scientist. In fact, according to the Occupational Information Network, 73% of political scientists have a doctoral degree. 13% have a master's degree, and about 7% just have a bachelor's degree. So to work as a political scientist, you most likely need a PhD in order to be competitive. Finally, we get to the interests and personalities of people that work as political scientists. For people that want to compare their RIASEC scores to political scientists score high in the investigative and artistic themes. And if you're interested in taking a RIASEC assessment, you don't have to pay for it. There's quite a few free ones online, although some of them are pretty dated. With political scientists, they score really high in the investigative theme, which means they tend to enjoy working with ideas. They have a lot of interest and curiosity in working through different ideas and being pretty abstract. They also tend to score pretty high in the artistic theme, which tends to involve self-expression and being pretty creative. As for the most common type found among political scientists, it is actually the ENTJ, also known as the commander. The second most common type found in this occupation is the ISTJ, the inspector. Number 3, ENTP, the debater, and number 4, ESTJ, also known as the director. So looking at your interests and personality might help you figure out if this occupation is for you. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to becoming a political scientist in 2021. Political scientists earn a pretty good amount of money, especially compared to similar occupations. And they have pretty solid wage growth, meaning they'll tend to make more and more money every single year. One con is the job market is pretty challenging for this occupation. There's not a lot of employed political scientists across the United States. It is also really regional, with half of political scientists working in Washington, D.C. Many people that end up majoring in political science or getting a master's in political science end up teaching as either high school teachers or as a post-secondary teacher. And many roles require at least a doctorate degree. But if you're interested in working in politics and studying different ideologies, this occupation might be for you. Are you a political scientist? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.